Hey, welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and we're going a little live today. I tricked you guys. Going a little live, so I got to keep you on your toes. That's why you got to make sure you're not only subscribed on Top Music Attorney YouTube, but you got to keep those notifications on because I will usually post up the announcement if we are going to change the time, so you will know. Or a little early, little. So we're off time right now. Okay, so hello everyone filing in on the chat. So we're going to power puff through this show. We got a lot that we're going to cover. So as far as the news stories, this was just breaking, but Megan Thee Stallion's home was broken into. I think she had something like $300,000 worth of property that was stolen. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Alex Jones $1 billion verdict. Yikes. And I guess one of the follow-up questions is, will he just file for bankruptcy? Right? Is he going to try to just avoid the judgment? If we have time, we're going to get into porn star Twitch streamer, I should say, broke her back. We're going to talk about what happened and go through it. And then finally, TikTok is setting its sights on Spotify. So we'll go through it. Hello in the chat. And then, of course, I got a super amazing music business tip for you guys. We're going to talk about how to start a record label from scratch. So real quick before I run the intro, sorry, I'm covering up. Hello in the chat. Nice to see you guys. I always have to check in. I know we're doing wonky hours in October. It's wonky hour October. Okay. Hi. So we are streaming on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the places, but this is definitely the place to be. Craig on YouTube asked, can you please check out hip hop artist Cloud9? Tell Cloud9 to do a artist submission for review. Let's do it. Let's get you on the show. You can go to topmusicattorney.com for that, and I will review your stuff. Hello to North Carolina. Where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? Great question, Adam. We will be discussing that as well. So be sure to stick around. We're going to cover all the things. I'm going to run the intro real quick. We have a jam-packed show today for sure. But we're going to get into everything. And I hope you guys are doing good. We have a nice weekend coming up. The weather's nice. I'm loving everything. So let's run that intro and I will be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. Let's go. Steven on Facebook is checking in from vacation in Puerto Rico. Love that. Dallas. Hey, London. For all of my fam in the UK, I know it's real early, real late, however you want to look at it. So I appreciate you guys being here. So it's been a good week. I do presentations from time to time, and the one this week was for a law school in California, so I had an opportunity to speak to a bunch of law students and talk about being in the entertainment field, which was very fun. And then I have one next week where I'm going to a convention, and it's a paralegal convention, so I'm going to be talking to the paralegals who are like similar to legal assistants. They're usually the powerhouse assistants, if you want to say it like that, where attorneys basically couldn't survive without the paralegal. So I'm very excited to talk to this group, and I will have my video team with me. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to document it and then repost it on this channel. So like I said, if you aren't subscribed on Top Music Attorney on YouTube, make sure you do that so you don't miss all the fun stuff coming up. Okay, so I was thinking maybe we'd do the entertainment news stories first, and then we can jump into the music business tip. What do you guys think? Give me a thumbs up or a yay in the chat if that order of things works for you. Okay. 3 a.m. Hey. Very nice. Yeah, it's 5:30 for me here, so you guys are amazing. All right, so I'm seeing yays in the chat. So yeah, let's go ahead and we're just gonna go through and I'm gonna do things a little bit different today. I'm gonna have you guys kind of seeing my screen with me, which I'll share here in a second. So Megan Thee Stallion, her LA home was broken into, and this is breaking news, okay? And the thieves raided her bedroom. Now, I believe it's estimated that about $300,000 of property was stolen. And I was looking at her Twitter account, and so she has posted in the last hour. So we'll talk about what she had to say about it. But let me go ahead and share this. So here we go. In fact, let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see. How are we looking? All right, so Megan Thee Stallion's LA home was ransacked by a pair of thieves who made their way into her bedroom, taking hundreds of thousands in goods. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ 2 men wearing hoodies and gloves smashed a glass door at the back of Meg's pad Thursday night, giving them access inside. We're told from there the men went into the primary bedroom. Okay. The crooks took estimated between $300,000 and $400,000 in jewelry, cash, and electronics from inside the home. And this was a question I had. Was Meg there? Luckily, she was not home when they broke in. So where was she? What was she up to? So at the time, the police have not made any arrests, but we're told there's home surveillance of the break-in. Okay, and detectives are working to obtain more video and evidence from neighbors that could help them catch those responsible. All right, so where was Meg? My understanding is that at the time this happened, she was not training, but prepping because she's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live. Pretty cool, and that's this Saturday. So she's rehearsing, she was out of the house. Now my question is, did the men who broke into her home know that she wasn't going to be there? Right? So if the intent is just to rob the home, then I think if I'm the police, doing the investigation, I'm now looking at, well, who were all the people that knew that she wasn't going to be there? I don't follow her as closely as, for example, watching her stories, but that's one of the concerns that comes up when you have celebrities who are sharing personal information about what they're doing, where they're at, right? Are they traveling? Are they at the airport? Do they say they're at their home? Because oftentimes we can find where these people reside. So in any case, yikes, but I think that Megan has responded. So I was looking at her Twitter account. So an hour ago, she said, wow. And then tweeted again, material things can be replaced, but I'm glad everyone is safe. Sounds like an acknowledgement of what potentially had happened. Hotties, I'm really sorry, but after SNL, I really got to take a break. I'm so tired physically and emotionally. Oh, man. Well, that's a pretty scary situation. I'm really glad that Megan Thee Stallion was not there, and I hope these guys are caught. I don't know if those tweets were specifically directed at what happened in this specific instance. It sounded like it, but we're glad that she's doing okay. All right, going real fast back to the chat. I forgot my gavel. Megan, you'll be fine, girl. Kevin says, dirty bastards. Spelled more cool. Hey. Glad you can be here. Let's see. What was this? Remember, I asked a question about the exclusive license. If the contract says that it's an instrumental that will be deemed to work for hire and the masters is transferred to artists. Well, I'm so happy that you can be here. And for those of you who are on the live stream, I do this as a live stream because I want to be able to answer your questions on the fly. So if you guys do have any questions, let me know. Yeah, I mean, look. We had that situation with Kim Kardashian where, she was held at gunpoint and robbed. And I mean, I'm just glad that obviously Meg was not there. All right, let's see if this is a question. Does the artist own the song? If the artist does a 50-50 split in the publishing, is that okay, or should artists own all? There's a lot there. So when it comes to working with someone and doing, maybe a publishing deal or working with a record label or working with a publishing house, it really depends on the deal itself. But just understand, obviously, if you're going to be splitting proceeds, what you agree to is usually for the life of the song, right? So it's not like, oh, we're going to do 50-50 this month. It's going to be 50-50 as it relates to all income for the song. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of negotiating and what you think makes sense and what is fair. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Alex Jones. All right. So Alex Jones' $1 billion verdict puts focus on bankruptcy mediation. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think this could potentially be the biggest, largest verdict and amount awarded for a defamation case. Maybe not just in the United States, but maybe all the world. This is a big one. Okay, so $965 million jury verdict was awarded this week against the infamous Alex Jones. And so as we're looking at, well, this was a result of statements and misstatements that he made in regards to the Sandy Hook shooting and the victim's family, which resulted in what they're saying, of course, emotional distress, and his fans actually taking additional steps to harass these families for years and years and to actually threaten their lives, right? Death threats and things like that. So this was a very sizable verdict. And again, this was a defamation claim. And, you know, obviously for someone like Alex Jones, his response, right? His defense is going to be, well, freedom of speech. I have the ability to express my opinions, and I thought that the elementary school shooting was a hoax, and so I am free to do so. And, you know, when it comes to freedom of speech issues, which do seem to arise with defamation claims, there's a lot that goes into that analysis. But what my understanding of where we're at right now, that amount of almost $1 billion did not include punitive damages. So when we look at awards of punitive damages, it's usually what's added on top of the principal amount, and it's meant to be a warning for other people in the future, right? So if it's almost $1 billion, we're wondering how much more will be added on top of this. But then the greater question of, can he even pay this? So coming together to land a settlement may provide some monetary closure for the parties, and it might help to prevent Alex Jones from just going and, you know, filing for bankruptcy. So for those of you who are not too familiar with bankruptcy, you know, you file, you don't always get a discharge, and depending on whether you're filing as an individual versus as a company, you ask the court to either reorganize your debt or to just discharge it in general. And sometimes, you know, it makes a difference whether you're filing as an individual versus a business. But the question comes up with, well, if we can get claims that are not things like fraud, right? So a claim like defamation, if there's a chance that it's just going to be discharged, so meaning that there would not be any amounts paid to the actual families, then does it make more sense that the attorneys for the families actually enter into settlement discussions with Alex Jones to try to get, you know, an amount compensatory to their damages or what they think is fair paid? And so what that could potentially be is, well, you know, maybe it's not $1 billion because he doesn't have $1 billion. But from what we're reading and understanding, he's a very wealthy person. And he has quite the enterprise that's based on many different ventures, including, I believe there's like a supplement company, obviously the show. So in any case, you know, I remember I was talking with an attorney before this all happened, and we were just discussing, well, you know, even if he gets like a $10 million judgment or a $20 million judgment, you know, is that even really sweat off his back, right? Because even through this, his star, so to speak, the awareness of him, people who follow him, people who even like him, have continued to subscribe and to follow. And so that obviously helps him in the long term with his different businesses. But now we're talking about a real chunk of change. And I don't know if he's going to survive this one. Now, going back to the chat, what do you guys think? Adam on Facebook, some basic math for Alex Jones's case. He would need to sell 10 billion of those $100 expensive products he sells on his store to generate 1 billion. Damn, I doubt he could even produce that many units. So, you know, as a litigation attorney, one of the things that we have to consider is what happens after we win, okay? So after we win and we get that judgment, we get that verdict, okay? So how do we go and actually collect? So that's why we do seem to come back to the table oftentimes, and we do have a discussion about settlement. Even though the families are entitled to, pursuant to the verdict, just shy of $1 billion, we still want to make sure that they are paid, right? So if we can get each family $50 million, 100 million. Although it's not the full amount of what they were actually awarded or what the actual verdict was, we still want to get them paid. We don't want them to actually, to file bankruptcy to try to avoid the judgment altogether. So this is definitely an interesting one. All right, going back to the chat. All right, so moving on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into our music business tip. If there's time, I'm going to hit the last two stories, but I want to make sure that you guys get this one. It's an important one, okay? So if you are someone who is wanting to kind of start in the music business and you want to start your own music business, to be in the industry, to know how the stuff works, I got you covered with this tip. Let me go ahead and bring up my notes. Yeah, real quick, you're right. So, the other thing is that he's going to appeal the death out of this, right? He's just going to continue to ask for the verdict to be reduced, and he might get it. And so there's going to be a lot of processing time that also happens. And that's another reason why we'll discuss settlement, so we don't have to go through that and wait for whatever's going to happen. So that's sometimes why settlement will be helpful. So I'm very amazed by this outcome, and I look forward to seeing what happens with this $1 billion verdict. All right, moving on. In our music business tip today, I will be discussing how to start a record label from scratch. When I first started my music business, right, my record label, I didn't have time or money. And what I mean by that is that I didn't have the time to like figure out how does it work, right? So once I have a company, how does it work in the music business? What's the process? And then I didn't have the money to hire experts to kind of mentor me through that process. So those two things were where I struggled with the most, but I'm gonna help with giving you a blueprint in this video of what you need to do, how to get started, and how you're gonna crush it, okay? So before we jump into it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe on Top Music Attorney YouTube so you don't miss any videos helping you with your music business. So number one, when it comes to how to basically start a record label from scratch, I'm always going to say you gotta get a limited liability company. A limited liability company or an LLC can be just you. Okay, it can be made up of one person. It could be a couple people. I have a lot of bands who will start an LLC for the band, and each member is a member of that company. So then they have their own music company. So you want to start an LLC. You can do this yourself. That's the beautiful thing, right? So you usually look up the filing through your Secretary of State of where you live, and then you file the paperwork. It's usually pretty inexpensive. Where I live, the filing fee is like $50. So it's really not crazy. And you want to go ahead and do that if you are going to get assistance. You can use outlets like LegalZoom. I mean, my law office does this, but honestly, I want you to save money. I want you to get what you need to get as quickly as possible. So if you need some help, check out LegalZoom. So that's number one. As soon as you file to have your LLC, you can actually start using it. And what does that mean? Well, when you're actually using the LLC, that means you are doing your contracts and signing them as the LLC, which means the LLC, which is like, a little bubble of protection around you so that if something happens, the LLC gets sued, you don't get sued. Very, very important first step. So you sign as the LLC, never sign as your individual self or individual selves if there's multiple people in the group. So that's number one. Number two is you typically do want to get that mentor or an attorney. Okay, find that resource so that you can have the assistance. As soon as you have to do a deal, right, you got to make sure you have a contract 100% of the time. And even today, right, I run a real law office. I've done this for 8 years. And one of the biggest problems that we run into is that people don't have contracts and they don't have someone to help them when a problem, a unique kind of problem, comes up. Okay, so number one, get an LLC. Number two, get your contract templates and then have an attorney on call. You don't want to have to always call the attorney, right? But you want to have someone that you trust. Okay, you want to have that shark that's going to come to bat and make sure you don't get screwed, make sure you don't lose money. It's going to be such a good investment of your time finding that right person who fits with what you're doing. Number three, you're going to jump into marketing. Okay, when it comes to marketing, your record label, this is how you let people know what you're doing. This is how you are going to get artists to want to work with you. And this is how you're going to find artists as well. Now, the great news and my little, homework for you guys is just to start executing, right? So you got the LLC, you find the attorney, you pick the name for your label, and then you're going to go get your usernames on social media. Make sure the social media usernames are all the same. Okay, don't have them different on different platforms. It should be the exact same username for every single social media platform. And by the way, you can go get those social media handles now. You don't have to start posting. Don't freak out. You'll be okay. Just go and actually get the handles so you actually own them. Okay, and then you will have to start posting. And so you have to figure out strategies, which I can help you with, but you have to figure out strategies on what you're posting, how often you're posting, the best tactics. And the good news is that this can be very simplified because I'm someone that runs a law firm, that runs a record label, that has, an online business. Like I have all kinds of things happening and I have been able to find time to do this. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So we got the attorney, we're starting to market. Now we need to sign artists. Now, the beautiful thing about starting your own business is that you can build something around just yourself, or if you're a band, around your band. Okay, you don't necessarily need to go and, hire, you don't need to go, not hire, but to sign artists to actually build the label. You can build your own empire around just you. And we've seen a lot of artists do that and do it really well. So if that's what you want to do, cool, but you still need to go through all these steps. Some people get a little confused with the words record label because they're like, that means now I need to build this thing and sign all these artists and I don't want to work with artists. They're the worst thing on the planet. You might be right. But when we say label, all we're saying is your own music business. Doesn't matter what you do in the music business. If you are just doing sync licensing, if you are doing publishing, if you're doing live performances, right? I have a client who gets paid like $70,000 a month through his live shows. And that's prominently what he likes to do. But if artist development is something you're into, beautiful. Okay. What a lot of people miss is that they need to understand the music business first. Okay. Before you can do anything, you have to understand and be in a mindset that you are a music business and then actually take steps to formalize yourself as a music business. And then from there, that's how you start to discover where it's profitable to do business in the music industry. Okay. And there is insane money being made. I had someone who was like, well, aren't record labels dying out and and I'm like, sure, some of them are. But what we're finding more often is that independent artists, independent labels, and even the majors are pivoting. They're not dying out. They're pivoting. They're doing something different. So now they're not just necessarily signing as many artists as possible. They're hyper-focusing on the thing that is actually making money. They're focusing on merchandising. They're focusing on making money through social media and Reels and TikToks. This applies to everyone across the board. Okay, and then we want to build your team. So if you are just starting, it's just you, or it's just you and your bandmates, that's where you start. That's not where you stay. After you have the backbone of your company in place, you hire contractors. And guess what? Before you hire someone, you have to get a contract in place with the contractor to make sure they don't go and steal your logos and steal all the stuff that you guys developed together. Another big misstep. Or I should say misstep. You know what I'm trying to say. And part of that team can also be the investors, right? So you need someone who's going to pay to help build the thing. Sometimes that's you, right? Sometimes you're going to bankroll this whole thing because you have your day job. And that's where that's the, source of the funds that's going to be used to pay as you start to build. That's great. Sometimes it's smart to get investors who will help to pay to sign artists if that's what you want to do, who will help to get the merchandise, right? If that's something that you want to do. I have very successful music businesses where they prominently focus on selling merchandise and they are very smart and they make crazy money. So, if it's something that you are interested in, those are the key ingredients to building your record label and your music business. And then, like I said, it is so important. You learn the business, you learn how to build properly, you get your contracts into place, and then from there, you can figure out where your passion is, right? What is it that you want to do? What do you need to hyper focus on to build, to actually make that 5 to 6 figure income, which is actually very, very feasible. And it is for the majority of our students. And so, I haven't actually announced this publicly, but I'll just tell you guys since I'm doing this, We started a 60-day record label program this month, and I've been looking and working with a small group of music business entrepreneurs who want to go through this process, but they're kind of stuck, right? So they don't know about the music business. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to do this and actually make money because they think it's just a dream. And they think people in the music business aren't making money. I tell you, I do this full time. There are people crushing it. And a lot of them are independent. So in any case, I'm doing this case study because we're going to launch the 60-day record label program. And so the people in the case study, I'm going to be working with directly. And so what I do in the program is that I teach my complete process over this 8-week cycle. And I'm teaching the exact sequence of how to build your music business, aka your label for yourself, and to do it in a way that's actually going to generate those 5 to 6 figures a year. So for me, I really felt like something that was missing from my experience is that kind of like someone holding my hand through the process. And that's what I do now for my students, right? So I'm holding your hand, I'm guiding you through the system. And what I'm doing is I'm giving my students the actual feedback and the accountability to accelerate the progress, right? So as you're getting through these different steps, it's really helpful that you have an actual music attorney, right? An actual person who is in the music business who has a record label overseeing all of the steps. So what's happening is that when we did the first pass of this, our students, once they get to that 60-day mark, they have a fully formed and operational record label that either is or is set up to start generating that 5 to 6 figures for them annually, which is so cool. And we've really had some amazing case studies. We've had like over 100 students in our program who are kind of just crushing it. So in any case, I haven't announced this other than in this segment, in this video. So if you guys are interested, I'll make sure that my show producer drops that link down in the description below. There are bonuses that come if you want to join the program. If you want to work with me and have me overseeing you developing your music business, there are contract templates that come with it. I give you explanations so you know exactly how everything works. So when it comes to you understanding your marketing, having that oversight of an attorney, getting your LLC set up, learning how to sign artists. But then the most important piece of this, right, is once we got you set up, how do we make money? And that's a very big piece of what I teach all of my students. So I wanted to make sure to give you guys all of that. Check it out. Link down below. Don't forget to like this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Hey, all right. So checking in real fast. We have like 2 minutes. We have like 2 minutes. I don't know if I can hit on any other stories. We had to keep this concise because I had something come up. But I wanted to make sure to hit those first 2 stories to give you that music business tip. It is such an important one because I have so many people who just have this passion, this dream of working in the music business. And I've seen people make it a reality and to quit their day jobs and to be able to, if your thing is working with artists, it's amazing. So in any case, with the last couple minutes, we didn't do our music video earlier, so we're going to hit that Radiohead. As you guys know, I am an independent artist. I'm very passionate about music in general, which is why I do all of this. So in any case, we're going to watch one of my covers, which is of Creep by Radiohead. And if you want to listen to any of my music, just check out Miss Krystle on all music platforms. Thank you guys for checking in. Sorry this had to be a short one, but I love your faces. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Miss Krystle. Bye. When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eyes. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You feel like a feather in a beautiful world. You're so very special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Don't care if it hurts. Wanna have control. Want a perfect body. Want a perfect soul.
special. I wished I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. My new album, Dangerous Daughters, is now available on all music platforms, and I'll be sure to link it for you down in the description below.